Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Testing. Hey, how's everybody doing? My name's Aaron, and this is the lunch stream. Let's see what's going on here. Maybe make sure that music's not so loud. Um, I hope everybody's Wednesday's going well. Welcome to the .NET lunch stream. Like I said, my name's Aaron, and I've been working on a Maui slash .NET project for a little bit here on the lunch stream, and we're going to continue working on that today. I'm without my stream deck today because I'm doing a reset up on my desk, and I've got some new cables coming and stuff, and so I've had to manually do a bunch of workflow here, and you can see I'm trying to rechange the position of my microphone to make the audio better and stuff. Just trying to make a better stream experience altogether. So that's a constant evolution, if you ask me. If you're a streamer, you probably know what I'm talking about. How do you, and if you've been around for a while, you know back in December, we were fighting the, some just really glitching where the tearing in the screen in my stream quality. So I've been trying to get all that to the point where it's really solid. I am going to do a update to Copilot here real quick. I didn't know that one was out, but I really need that because I want to use that today and try it out and see how good the Copilot is for doing some more complicated stuff. So where were we? Let's leave. Let's go and take a look at what we were doing last. So if you weren't with us previously, there is a repo out there. You can go find the code, and we are working on a .NET MAUI application to start out with, right? So if I were to go show you, we're to the point now where we need to load some data in. Okay. And so, oh, that's weird. Incompatible device selected. Oh, don't tell me this bug's come back where in Maui I can't select any simulators. Oh no. So this was just working. Can I run in .NET? Wait, let me check Xcode here real quick. The life of a developer. It always sucks. So if Xcode did an update, which I think there was a new Xcode update, you have to agree to the licensing terms in order for it to have the tools installed for them to be able to see the simulators. So Mac OS is working. So this is Catalyst. So that tells me that that's not the issue. Let me see if Xcode's actually opening or not here. What's it doing? So Xcode's opening. We should be able to see it here and see that it's working. And let's just open up a project and just make sure that the simulators are showing up. So that's not the issue. Oh boy. Yeah, here we go. So we have all the devices, simulators. We can see we have some iPads, we got some iPhones, and we can manage destinations here and simulators. And these should be all the things that are installed. And there's a ton of them, as you can see here. We've got iPhone 14. And you can see here, you can have paired watches with it, an iPhone SE. So all these are there. These are all showing up in Xcode, which means they should be available in Rider. And there is a way you can get the list of simulators that's available. Let me close Rider and open it back up. See if there's maybe an update. Otherwise, this is going to be Sad Panda. I'll have to probably put a defect against Rider on their issue tracking thing that they use. So let's just go check and see if there's an update. I guess if you're going to stream like the real life of being a .NET developer, here it is, tooling. I definitely said this has been the most challenging part of building a Maui app. Tooling had various problems back in the Xamarin days, and it looks like it's the same now. So this computer's connected and no ability to see simulators whatsoever. Install simulators via Xcode. I did. We checked that, right? So there's a command we can do. So let's check this, see what's going on here. Xcode X, what is it? XC sim list simulators. Well, actually, let's just say Xcode list simulators via command line. This is a command line program for this. Sim control. I couldn't remember the name of it. Sim CTL. which SimCTO. Well, that's not good. XC run Sims, XC run, Xcode run Sim6, and then what we want to say is list, I think, and that's list. That makes sense. There's all my simulators. Okay. So you can't tell me my simulators aren't available because here it is running for the command line. All these simulators are there. Some of them are shut down, but some of these are available. You can see the runtimes of devices, right? Let's do this. Let's see if we can relaunch one via Xcode and see if then Rider sees it. And we'll have a better idea what's going on here. I hope this doesn't happen to you. This has been happening to me a lot in Rider, and it's been pretty terrible, tell you the truth. So let's get a an iPhone SE. We'll just run this program here, make sure it works. This is just a Swift UI application that I have. And we're clicking build. That's building right now. We'll see what's going on here. Well, I was going to work on the data loader anyways today, but this is just super disappointing to see that. Again, we had this problem about a month ago with the simulators after the last update to Rider, and we couldn't see the list of simulators. And it's a little, like I said, just frustrating that we're seeing it again. So let's see here. Did the simulators launch? Okay, well, that's actually interesting. So we're seeing here. Okay, so maybe that's what's going on. So this looks like it may be an Xcode thing. Let me try a different simulator to see whether or not that's going to work. So let's just try a regular iPhone 15. Let's see if that works. We can go into settings. Okay, so that does work. So here's my iPhone 15 starting up. So we can go to simulator. Oop, we're not here. We can go to Xcode and settings. And in Xcode settings, platforms will allow us to say what platforms we want. My guess is I only have 17.2, and my guess is the SE is no longer included in that profile. So what we should be able to do, but we also have 16.4, and the iPhone should be available on that platform. So I shouldn't need anything older than that. And I don't plan on developing for iOS 15, so that's not the issue here. And you can see here this program's launching without problems. So let's keep this open though, because I want to see now if I switch to iPhone 15, whether or not Rider can see it. So we'll just stop the task, but we'll keep the simulator running. So we'll close Xcode. We got our simulator running still here. And if we were to go to here list and do a more on this, we should be able to see it running eventually in the list. Runtimes, devices, and then it should tell us. Oh, what's the command for this? We want to see. I want to see which ones are open. Huh. I don't see the ability to see that. Boot device, delete, collect, erase. We don't want to do that. Install. We don't need to install. So we get the list. It's open. Let's go back to see whether or not Rider now sees it. So let me close Rider and open it up so that, because I opened this up since and want to try to replicate this to see if I can understand why it's happening. Hard to put a bug into a company if you can't reproduce it, right? Although I could take a clipping of this stream and say, folks, why? This sucks. All right, so let's go here. So we have Apple, we have no device. That's not true. That's not true at all. In fact, where's he even getting this from? All right, let's think about this for a second. So we know that there's a couple different things that JetBrains does. Let's see if we can fix this. real quick. So we know that in this repo there is a JetBrains, the idea directory, right? So remove -rf.idea, and that should remove it from there. Let's see if that fixes it. So it doesn't know any more about what I had selected. So we'll select the iPhone Maui one. And still no devices. There's a cache in. There's a cache in the JetBrains directory that does this also. So I think it's application support JetBrains, if I remember right. Let's see, JetBrains. Visual Studio. JetBrains, there's a JetBrains directory. Yeah. Make sure we close JetBrains when we do this, otherwise chaos will happen. And we do not want to import settings because we reset all of it. Data sharing, sure. We don't want to no. So skip. We want dark mode. Visual Studio. Sure. And we want all. Wow, really? This is not installed now? All that stuff stored in the directory. That is cool and terrible at the same time, I guess. I guess they have to install it somewhere, right? It's a good point. Okay. Let's start writer and see what happens now that we cleared the application support directory, the cache for it out. I know there's another directory it also does. And the last time I had this problem, I had to clear that out. This is not good. It wants me to activate the license. I don't know why it's saying this. No. So it's basically telling me to activate my license, which I've done already, but the activate button is not available. And so usually there'd be like you give it an email, username, and password. Let me real quickly log out off screen here and log back in and see what happens. Oh, get that off the screen so we don't show that by accident. Yeah, so I had to log back in. Jeez, oh Pete's. No. Activate. Jeez, oh Pete's JetBrains. Man. Okay, that's fixed now. Boy. Tooling. It's a developer. Most frustrating thing in the world is when tooling is jank. And this is not necessarily always the greatest experience. All right, let's bring the code back over and take a look at this real quick and see if we can figure out what the heck's going on here. Let me get this so you guys can see it again. All right, that looks better. I have a feeling this is not fixing anything because I still see no devices. And so killing the application support directory did not fix it either. Let's check Android. So, and that is working without problems. And I know Mac is working, but no iOS support again. Boy, JetBrains, man. And also all my settings got reset. So my font size is wrong and stuff. I should have probably not reset that. Let's go through reset our Zoom. For all you watching on YouTube, video on demand, man, thanks for watching. The numbers are always really high. I'm always curious on what people are working on. Sometimes people do ping me on Twitter, but or even DM, but not as often as I thought they would. But thanks for being here and hanging out. I also need to get the boy, this was a really bad decision to do because now none of my plugins are there. Because now I'm missing Copilot and stuff. That's a bummer. It looks like there's an update to one of my plugins. I think this is the dark theme I was using. Had the least amount of screen tearing. We had an issue there. Okay, let's see here. So that's working now. Solution Explorer is working. No devices. This has happened so many times throughout the years of using Rider. 1 month ago. Jeez. This really stinks. Just reading here to see if there's anything I can see in the... Go to the bottom maybe and see. So it says here, it's to open Xcode and start the simulators. And then come back to Rider and select the Android target and then select the iDroid target. I don't know if that's really going to solve it because we already tried that, having it already open. In fact, it's already open right here. It's iPhone 15. But I mean, we can go here, Xcode, open developer, simulator, and it's open already. We could switch back from Android back to iOS and no stinking devices. Really big bummer for Rider. Man. Oh, wait a minute here. So they're saying here that is true. The edit configuration, we would have to make it so that this is available, right? But that's there. And that's right. That's active. There's also our configuration where we can check. I think this is the same place. And this should be Xamarin iOS. No, that's not it at all. So that's not it. Configuration just takes us back here, so that's not it either. Edit solution configuration. Let's make sure that we have it set for... there it is. I bet you this is the problem. We want to be able to deploy to both the data loader and to the... technically speaking, we want test also to deploy. And then release would be the same thing. We'd want to be able to do these three. Release, but debug. Let's click OK and see if this does it. Let's move over to Android maybe. And go back to here, see if devices show up. Still busted. That's great. Well, this has been going on for quite a while. I'm going to have to update this. I'm going to keep this ticket open over off screen here so I can update it afterward and give my feedback that it's still not working for me. This makes .NET MAUI almost impossible to develop for right now. We could test VS Code, I guess. Let's bring VS Code up over here. That should get us the ability to have the Solution Explorer, but we want here, we just want to have the get rid of here. There's actually ability to have the Solution Explorer open. But I think you have to open just the solution directory only. And if you open the other, then it doesn't work. Let's try that real quick. Let me just try to open this more directly here. Folder. Let me just try opening the actual MAUI project itself. So when you open the project by itself, it should know all of its dependencies, and you should get all the references and stuff here. It knows the model project. But I open just the CS project instead of the solution file, as you can see here. This should give us this. Here it is. So here's Solution Explorer. So now we have it right. You can see here, here's .NET MAUI, and here's the project. And that means now you can't use this build tool here, which seems weird to me. You use this C# icon down here. And so, yeah, I would like to run it though. Um, I get that, but why can't normally I would get my run options here. Here we go. Sorry, it's right here. I want to be instead of this, I want to switch that. Oh boy. And the debug target, I want to see if it shows oh yeah, so here it is. Here's all my simulators. So here is an Xcode. So let's see, here's my iPhone 15. It knows it's running because you can see here, if I go to debug target, you can see that it says it's running right now. So this is absolutely a rider problem because I could do that. And now if I hit the, what the heck do I do? I think I just hit the debug button now. Boy. A lot of warnings coming up, but I think now what should happen is it should run the program. Yep, you can see here that we're getting to run. And if I go back to my simulator, oh, wait, what's it doing? To my simulator, did it stop my simulator? My simulator just disappeared. It says it's running on iPhone 15, but I don't see the simulator running. Did it stop it? Because it was running. And I'm looking at my list of running programs. There it goes. All right, now it's coming up. I wonder if it's because I already had it running, it was bad. Here's my program. And that seems like it's working. It looks like the debugging's working. I can go here. We can see here. This is all set. Okay. So I want to get to the point where we can get profiles loaded from the database. That's the whole point of this. I know 30 minutes in to figure out that, you know, one, Rider's not working. VS Code is, for debugging, at least for iOS. Really, really big bummer. But what I think I want to work on is the data loader, right? That's what I was looking to do today so that we can get a database into the mobile app. So if we go here and take a look here, we've got this. Why am I doing this part in Rider? I still believe the editing experience over here is superior to VS Code. What is it saying here? I'm not sure why it's mad about that, but okay. So what we were getting to the point was we had it where we're getting a user profile right here, right? And this is what we should be able to do. So if we run this data loader program, we should get this right here. And we should have a console. Do we have a read after? Yeah, we have a console read line here. So what we do is we basically say we want to get some files out of here to load into the database. We're going to load the user profiles, and then load user profiles will run all this code. Now I need to get my Docker image for Couchbase server up and running. So let's do that real quick here. Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this in Docker. There we go. Let's get Docker loaded up here. And we'll start this. This will start our servers running. And once our servers are up and running, I'm hoping that I use my old trick of telling me the username and password I did. Okay, good. Good deal. I think we can get that out of the code if we wanted to anyways, right? There's a user that was created that we can use for logging into Couchbase and setting up stuff. What was that username? Let's go look at the compose file real quick here. Let's actually use VS Code to open up the root folder of this project. We'd want to go up to here because this is where our assets are. And in our automation folder here, we have all of our stuff. And what we're looking for here is that, no, go back here, please. And then we should have here is that we set a user right here. So that's the administration username and password, but then we make a user for Sync Gateway. RBAC username and password, that's what we're looking for. And so that would be in our Docker Compose file then. So let's find Docker Compose. We'd have admin with this password. So that's these are the two things we need. Eventually we should set these via environment variables, but for today's thing, we'll just kind of put these in up here for right now, and then we'll refactor that if we can. Count string. And we'll do this, and we'll say this, and then we probably need to do this. So we know that the special characters to move this to read environment variables. Let's see here. So we should be able to do now is ask Copilot. How can I connect the Couchbase server using the .NET SDK and batch upload a bunch of documents into a collection? Let's see if the Copilot can help us with this. We've already done that. I do know we need a cluster, we need a bucket, we need a collection, and we up insert. Is up insert the best solution for this though? See, look at here. It knows, it already knows my code. So it kind of knows some information about like what I'm trying to do here, which is kind of cool that it infers that. But I don't think that that's 100% right. I'm going to go with, I think that that's, I'm just reading our docs here to see whether or not they are having a better version of how to do this. So I guess they're also saying, they're saying that that's actually not bad to build a list of tasks and then to do it that way. Oh, all right. When in Rome. So let's start out with we're going to need to do this multiple times. So let's add a function that void. So we don't want a void though here. We're going to want a private tuple. So we're going to have a tuple. We're going to have a bucket, I think we want to set iBucket, I scope, I collection. We don't care about the scope actually. We just care about the bucket I collection. get bucket collection. Let's see here. Do we need, this needs to be a task. Task. Sync. And iCollection needs to be from, what do we call it in Couchbase? Server SDK iCollection.net. Probably not iCollection. It's probably not what they use for that. It's probably let's just do this. Undo Couchbase dot ico scope collection. Nope. Cluster. Nope. Let's just start with bucket, I guess, and say var cluster equals await cluster. Let's copy some code in here. All right, so let's have to type this out. Let's see here. We need a connection string. Username password. So the connection string would be a string. I'm pretty sure that we can just say that that's going to be var connection string equals Couchbase s. Nope, just regular Couchbase because I'm not going to do that. And we'd say localhost. Or at symbol, right? No, we can say connection string, and then that username and password we put up here. Did we hard code it? Oh, we put it up here in this. So we have the Couchbase RBAC user and password. I think we can minimize this now. So then once we get a bucket, we get the bucket name. And the bucket name was... I don't think that's the right name though. Let me see if there's anybody in chat asking any questions. We're cool there. All right, let's see here. Couchbase server. Gotta get my Couchbase server console open. So I've got my Docker running here. So what I could do is just go to my container, go to here, say all ports, and this should get me to there. And then I can go in here. This is administrator. I don't remember the password, but if I go into the server console, it'll tell me what it is. At the top here. Copy that. Paste that in here. Boom, 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 boom. Buckets. What's it called? Copy that. Go back here. There we go. So we should be able to get a cluster, and then the bucket name would be this bucket name right here. Add the E to it. that should make that legal code. And then what kind of Couchbase collection? That's what we need to return. We need, oh, we do need the, we want to return the cluster. Is this an iCluster? iCluster, yep. iCluster. We want an iBucket, iCouchbase collection. Those are 3 things we want to return. Actually, we don't want to return the collection. We'll let the code get the collection, because when we load data, we'll need to load data into different collections. Let's just do this too, right? I think we're good here. And this should also probably be up here because we can read all these. Oh boy, didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. Couchbase connection string equals that. Because then we can just replace this with environment variables. We don't have to check this into our code. Hard coding username and password, and that'll solve that problem. Keep the security people happy. I've missed the G in string, so that should be there. I don't have word wrap enabled. Just realized that now, and that's super annoying. The fact that this doesn't come enabled by default is also just downright annoying. C#, XAML, MDs are in there, text files. That seems like good enough. And now we should get word wrap a little bit here. So we should be able to see this. Yep. Okay, let's see here. So that code down here should be using this, and then bucket, and then we would just return new and that should be that. And then what we should be able to do is up here, turn this function into a async task. If we tell it spell that right. And that should do that. Minimize it, add here for async. Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to do that in a second here. So let's first get the we're going to say if we got files we want to import. This is where it gets interesting. We'll go through and say var, but we need to rename this because that's not right. We want cluster bucket. So we want to say here refactor, rename, and we'll say get bucket cluster bucket. And now our tuple will go through and return that. We'll get those 2 back into variables for that. I know people don't like var, but var and here using tuples is the best way to do that. You can see here I'm mostly trying to use string or try to use the type definition here because it's hard to read, right? To get the type out of here. So technically speaking, we want this, for example. So this would be the proper way to do this data, but you'll see here that says use var instead because that's one of the code things. There's a whole argument whether or not you should use the word var or not in .NET, and I guess it's just your personal preference. I get the argument why you don't need it. Like this should be iBucket. And that would tell us, okay, I know that this is get me an iBucket back, right? I don't have to read the code to figure that out. I mean, I would argue that bucket async tells me, okay, this is bringing back some kind of bucket, and that would only just confirm it instead. these need to be nullable. So we can't guarantee they work. Why is it saying here? Value is assigned as not used in any of the execution packet. We would have to say this. To be good citizens, we're not really sure if either one of these will be null or not. Right? Does this come back as nullable? Whereas okay, so this is guaranteed to be a cluster no matter what. The bucket could be nullable. Why is that unreachable? Is it just a cluster bucket? Is that the new syntax for this? I guess I'm not understanding the new syntax for tuple. Do you have to put it in parentheses? Or I think that's it. I think that's a proper syntax for it. We're going to debug and find out real quick here. So let's see here. If bucket is not null, okay, why did that? If bucket is not null, we would want to do all this code here. But it's after the try catch, right? Let's see, make sure we got this. So it's after the try catch. There we go. All right, so if bucket's not null, and then after the try catch, we would have to close the cluster. Should we make those global? So the problem is we have to guarantee that we can keep the life cycle for the cluster and bucket open, right? So that's going to be the issue here. And so this is a console program, right? The problem is we are going to load our data in just the profile. So if we get the cluster back here, the problem's going to be is we want to make sure that when all the data loading's done, regardless what's going on, that we close the cluster. So we're not keeping it open. That's a bad thing, right? That's just bad code. I think what we're gonna do is load these in as globals into the console program. Where it's gonna say var iBucket. I'll just do it here. And then we could say here if cluster is not null. Oh, cluster can never be null. Cluster dot. What is the close? Dispose. Does not close. Dispose. Okay, that one. And honestly, we should have this should be a try. So no matter what happens, we always close the cluster. Stack trace, and that will give me the stack trace for this in case something goes wrong. Okay. And now we can have this. Now we don't need the code to go get this anymore. We can just say if bucket's now null, then we know that we have a bucket. And the first thing we want to do is if we have more than what, if we have user profiles, we need to then go get the collection that we want to store them in, right? And that's going to be our goal. Let's go look at our Couchbase server and see which one of those where you want to put the user profiles in. We already built that earlier, but we can go look here and say our buckets. This is our bucket. Let's go to scopes and collections. We'll see that we have a scope, and I want to say this is personnel user profiles. That's where we want to put the documents in, right? So let's go back to our code then in Rider, see if we can get this finished up real quick. So we're going to say here, we're going to say var scope, iscope equals bucket dot get scope async. I want to await this. And that scope name, I think, was called personnel, right? Let's go check that. Oop, that's wrong window. Let's go back to Chrome here. Get that. And then it's called user profiles. Profiles. So let's go here and say we want that. And then we can say I collection. Oop, I Couchbase collection. Oop, we forgot to call this scope. Equals scope dot collection async. And we want user profiles. Perfect. We need to await this. We can make this smaller so we can see this. We can see more code now. Okay. I'm gonna guess it's mad at saying to use var here instead. Okay, sure. Does scope have a possibility of having a nullable back though? It is. So this would be proper code there. Oh. Why would it allow me to do that? Because it could be no. In Kotlin, in our languages, this would be the proper syntax. And Rider's not mad when I don't use it. It's just only mad I don't have collection. Why is it like telling me? It tells me that iscope is a nullable. So it tells me this. Oh, it doesn't. That's weird. So if I hover over here, it tells me it's nullable. But if you look here, it's always saying that it returns its scope. Okay, well, that's just really stupid. I don't have our SDK memorized. If you're crazy if you think that I have that memorized. If you're wondering, wait, you work at Couchbase, why wouldn't you have the SDK memorized? I don't use the Couchbase server SDK as much as I do mobile. So I don't have it memorized, but I do know the concepts of what we need to do, and I've written in it before. Just trying to knock all the cobwebs out. I want to see here. So that would be there. So if now that we have a collection, we could say that we want to make a mutable document var. That's kind of what ChatGPT said, but it said we wanted to do Well, we got to change that though a little bit. But let's take a look here. ChatGPT said that we should make a list of tasks first of all. And then it says in our list of tasks, we're going to say we want to do an up insert instead. So let's go back to that though. Collection up insert. And I think we want the ID first. So that would be user profile. The ID. And also the user profile. Okay. But we'd want to say task dot add. But we still haven't solved this problem yet because we have to add the X attribute. So let's go to the docs on how to do that. Did I put a link to here? I normally would put a link in my code to where the docs is for that. I don't think Copilot's going to know the answer to this. In this example, I need to add X attribute, the X attribute to the document. How do I do that? And let me just see here. It'd be here in the user profile. So it'd be right here, specs. Okay, so there it is. So let's see what Copilot's telling us. Let's see how well this is. This is actually true. Now the problem will be you don't really want to make a spec per. You would have to because it has the pointer to the mutated dot. You want to do that. It's just whether or not. So if you do the var spec and set this for each loop, right? Well, the problem is you're going to create one of those for every single entry of this. Get a million documents. You now have a million mutated inspect builders, right? Because you're doing a for each loop in here. And if you're going to do a pointer, then add that to the task. You're going to have that on the stack and heap. That's expensive. Very heavy from a memory usage standpoint, but you have to because it has a link to the document. So, and you have to insert the document first and then add the X attribute to it. I am like 95% that Copilot's not wrong on this. Couchbase server, and I want to do the X attribute, sync gateway. And I'm just the extended attributes. Let me pull up the docs here. So this is the docs, and we are looking for. Now they're doing a lookup and then they're modifying it, right? So we're not doing that, but you can see mutate in. They're saying spec insert path value channel X attribute true, and that is 100% correct. And this is just C# syntax sugar, right? For what GitHub Copilot is telling us. So, sorry, GitHub Copilot was right here. So it was saying let's make a spec builder. So we would have something like this. We'd say spec builder up insert, but the path. this would be wrong though, because we have to tell it the user profile that we have to tell it the document ID. And then we have a it's not sync. And that's also wrong. You wouldn't have it blank. The value would be the name of it, I want to say. Let me just double check here. I've got the document open on another. No, I don't. Where is my browser window for this? And it's attribute. Yeah, you have to set the value for it. You have to give it the path and then the value. Just double check this. Yeah, so they're saying here's the X attribute. Okay. They're saying here is the channel attribute, and then you have to give it some kind of value of what channel you want to set it to, right? So you can see here the channel attribute here's value is an array, a string array of different channels that can see this. Ooh, I had to think about this for a second. For user profiles, anybody can add them, or anybody can see them. Only the user can add them. Let's check our code here. We might not actually have to do X attributes and user profiles. It would be more audits that we'd have to worry about. Let me just double check this. But the more I think about this, it's been a couple days since I wrote the code here. But if we go look at user profile, let me see here. Only a sysadmin can delete it. This is JavaScript code that makes Sync Gateway work. Here's my document ID. I make sure a document ID happens. I make sure that the email can't change in a document. And I say it's available to all channels here. But only the user that basically is logged in can actually update the document. So I'm going to say require user. Hey, if you're going to try to give me an update, you have to be this user. But then I'm going to say, hey, if you want to be able to see it, anybody can see it. That's what this star means. So technically speaking, for user profile specifically, we do not need the extended attribute on it, or the X attribute like I was calling it. So if we go back to Rider, we actually can go back to this original code here. And this is actually right. We'd insert the document. We don't really need this part here. And if we go back to Copilot, then we would just have to loop through the list and mutate it right here. So then all we have to do here is say, then we can say console.writeLine. Profiles loaded. Now, is this the surefire way of doing it? The answer is sort of. The problem you're going to have is what happens if the document already exists? You're going to run into all kinds of problems here, right? Because you can only have one document with the ID. So if we try to run this twice, it would fail, right? Let's just go through and put a breakpoint after here, and also put a breakpoint in our debug so we can see what's going on here, see if this actually works. By theory, we can also go to Couchbase server, look at that bucket and see if there's documents in it. But with the two breakpoints, then we should be able to get one or the other, right? So either we're going to have an error that's going to happen, which we'll get to stack trace, or we should get a breakpoint here. And instead, we don't compile. Try to debug again. There we go. See where we stop. Yes. Why would I? Unhandled exception. Okay, well, that's good to know here. Authentication error. Okay. That's telling me here that our connection here is failing. Let's rerun this and get to the breakpoint here and make sure that our globals are being set right. And let's see here. Can I add a watcher? Yep. It is global. It is set up here. You say I was born in the darkness. Why would it say this? I don't think that that's right. The watcher is saying that it's not in memory, but it is in memory. Oh, wait. We get into a const problem here versus a static. Let's do this real quick here. This be formatted. I like it like this. Easier to read. Boy, do you see that where it's like adding in characters? Or am I just, oh, I'm probably just not selecting all the right ones to replace with. All right. Run this again. Make sure we're getting the values there. See if we still get it. We might have to put a try catch on this also. So let's see here. Okay, so that's working. We can see admin username and password. I still think this is right. I think that the watcher is wrong. So let's step over. We're still getting a code-based authentication failure exception. Which that should, or is that outside of here? Oh, crap, that's outside of here. So we would have to say, oh, that's not going to allow us to return though. Turd. We got to capture this when it bubbles up here so we can know that that's what's going on here. I'm a cheater. That will get it so that we would log that error. That's an authentication problem. So let's debug one more time. It should be fine. We should get past this and we should get to the exception. Right? What? The cluster. And now what we can do is say And we would want to actually send this in then because, well, no, this is global. Be good citizens. We should probably pass this in. Right line error that says we're basically just writing a data loading program, so it doesn't have to be the world's you know, we want to make it so it's friendly, but not, we don't have to make it the most crazy thing. So that's the proper syntax because cluster will always return so the bucket's not guaranteed. You should get something with the cluster. And we'll say. And then this will catch us if the cluster doesn't work somehow for some reason. Authentication error. That's perfect. That's what I wanted. Okay, so let's go back here now, take a look and see what the wanted to make sure that if the program broke that we could get good results from it. So let's put a breakpoint here now and see what the using a password, try to pass it in and see whether or not this is right. So connection string is Couchbase localhost, and Couchbase localhost should be right. Couchbase : /localhost. We shouldn't have to tell the port. They should know that. And then username is admin. Password is that super weird password. Seems like it's right. Let's go look at the server real quick here and see if that's what's in the server. Oh, it probably doesn't have rights. I only give it rights for sync gateway. Oh, that's what's going on. It's a demo. Do I do something evil or not? The devil's on my shoulder. I'm trying to decide, do I do something evil or not? I think I don't do something evil. I think I fixed this, right? The answer would be is that we have to give this user, you shouldn't make your sync gateway user also a bucket admin. That's probably dangerous, right? So you'd have to make another user. So you'd say add user here, and a new user called data load. And you just say password. Let's just try this real quick here, make sure. And you'd want to say, I'm the ability to talk to all buckets, right? You could just say bucket admin everything. The data loader then could talk to all the buckets, and then the data loader could do that. We would be able to validate that then the data loader user is what can talk into Couchbase. So let's see here. Back to our writer code. And then what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to modify the Docker creation process to make the data loader user. And I think it's only one. Oh no, I called this just password. Like this. So let's run this again and debug and see what happens now. Connection string, username, data loader, password. And we're just testing this to make sure it works. Data loader, that matches. Let's go back over here to writer. We'll hit the continue button. There we go. That was the issue. Is that we now have a cluster connection. The problem was I was sending the user in, but the user, technically speaking, is only used for sync gateways. So you shouldn't be able to use it to connect to the cluster and just be doing willy-nilly stuff with it. And that kind of makes sense because that's what we want to use at users between sync gateway and Couchbase. And when you set that role, it's very specific what would happen there. I like this. This is going to give me my bucket. But let's stop this. Because the problem is if I forget, like when I stream, a lot of times I forget what I last worked on and I have to go look at the code. But the problem is I've actually got this in a bad state because I manually made that user instead of automating this user, right? And this is not a secure password either. So this needs to be something like, pass, something like that, 1, 2 or something. So that gives us enough security in here that we feel pretty good about it, right? This is just an example. I'm not doing this in production, so it's, using that's not bad. So let's go back here to our containers. We need to blow this away. We're actually going to blow those containers away because we have to fix this. Before I end the stream, I need to do that so I don't forget. So what we're going to do here is in our net script, we have to make that user. So if we look here, we're going to have to pull in another user. So that means in the Docker Compose file, we have to define it first. So let's go back to Docker Compose, close this out, find our Docker Compose file. And you can see here, this is where we have our RBAC user. We're going to say Couchbase data loader username equals data loader. And then our password is going to be 1S 1 2, something like that. Okay. Oop, but this needs to be data loader. And we can eventually get these, we can set these via the environment in my command line. Right now, we're going to set them via here. And once these are created, technically speaking, the Docker image knows about these. These are loading at the environment level, right? And that's a good thing to have. So now we just need to go into our net script and grab this so that we understand this. In our net script here, we have it where we create that's creating the bucket, and then right here is user manage. So this is what we're going to do here. We need to copy this again, but we're going to say here, this is, we're going to say data loader, data loader, and then we're going to say here where roles, that's the wrong role, right? So we got to go look at our Couchbase server and see what role I just put them in. I put them in the bucket admin role. And so it's a different name that's in the UI though. So I'm gonna have to look this up. Bucket admin. Couchbase server REST API. Oop, it's not the REST API. It's the Couchbase CLI. I think it's the same thing though. CL create user role. And it's bucket admin. Do Google on this right quick. And let's see here. we go. So I'm looking at the Couchbase server docs. So I just Googled that. Let me take a look at this. So we want bucket admin. So if we look here, bucket admin. Right here. This is actually what we really want. We want bucket full access. They can write data, but they can't access the admin interface. That sounds like exactly what we want, right? Thank the Lord for the Googles and the docs, because the docs here is a big win. So we'll say here, we'll just give us boom. For our buckets, use the star. That's what we want to do here. So we'll make that user. Once we have it, then that's the user we'll use in our C# code. So that seems like it's right. So now what we have to do is go into Docker Compose. Now here's the problem. When you turn them off and you delete it, you really haven't deleted it, it turns out, because they're still inside of a container. The image is still here, right? And it'll cache that image. So if we want to do new Docker Compose on this, we want to make sure we get rid of the image. And I would even say you want to get rid of the volume that the image was stored in. If you truly want to clear your computer out, make sure that your Docker Compose is running fresh. And let's see here. We'll get back to developer, Couchbase, Couchbase inventory. Oh, what was this? This was CB. .NET. I don't remember the directory we're in. What is the directory we're in? Let's go look at our code. I didn't want to do that. Let's go back to our code. Take a look real quick here. So .NET CB Lite inventory. Okay, so we got our Docker Compose file in there. So let's go through and make sure that our Xcode is, or our Visual Studio Code's updated. Docker Compose up -d. That should build all the containers. They should all be starting. Magic sauce, they're there. Our web UI is there running, so we should be able to then look at the web UI. Go back in here, steal our password for the administrator. Make sure I don't have a space after that 1, 2. Be bad. And go to security. And we only have one user. So our code did not make the second user. Stop. That's bad. We need to stop all these. Take a look. What did we do wrong here? Hibernating. Set it sleep 2 seconds after it does that. Okay, so that's right. We want to set our back username, download password. That seems right. That means full access. That file's being saved. Then we need to go through and make sure that the Docker Compose was updated. It's got it there. That should be it. It should run the init script now. Delete these again. Make sure that the images are deleted, because the script to be cached there. Delete the volume. We know we're super clear. We have to go look at the Docker Compose image and see what's going on here. Clear. Okay. Copy the init file here. You can see here, then it's bringing the image up. Let's go look back at our Docker Compose and see what's going on here. So here's our server. It's initializing, it's creating buckets. Let's go to the console log, or the console for this. cd where the heck did I think this is an opt, right? Opt Couchbase, and we want knit more knit cb. Let's just make sure we have the right file. Let's see here. Okay, so I see that the right script's on here, because you can see here, there's a space right here. That shouldn't cause it to have issues. I gotta get the password. You say password. Back here. All right, let's see here. I have one user only. Why isn't my other user getting added? Oh. Saying the password must be at least 6 characters long. Oh, no. If I read, it'd be easier, right? All right, let's go here and take a look here. So that's easy to fix. We just gotta go in our Docker Compose file and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the right password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are both right. DL password. Oh, I do remember the $sign. The $sign gets is a pre-used variable. So the reason why this is that's an escape character for only one. Oh, that's bad. I bet what's going on here. This would only give me $1 sign. It's just how Bash works. And so you'd want something like this if you wanted just the first letter to be password, or to be the $sign. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are both right. Why do I have RBAC name in there? Let's go look at the script. What are we doing for that? I don't know if we have RBAC name in there. The role should be bucket full access there. Password username should be there. That should be right. Make sure Docker Compose right again. That's right. Okay. One more time, kill the containers. Hey, welcome, jump in. I hope you're doing well over on YouTube land. Welcome to the chat. 5 minutes ago. Let's kill this image. Delete. Okay, so the image is gone. Oh, wait, the images are still there. Oh, that's bad. Because they'll just use those again. So we got to make sure that the containers, the images, and the volumes are all gone. That will mean that when Docker Compose runs, it reruns and we get new stuffs. Very, very important. Let's do Docker Compose up again. We'll check our Docker situation here and see what's going on here. All right, so we make our password, initializes the cluster, creates the bucket, admin user set, database loader user set. There we go. Magic sauce. We go here. Oh, I already had to open another browser. Where is the other browser window at? Okay, there's our data loader. Application access, that's what it's called in UI. Perfect. That means now we can add that to our C# code and we're good to go. I'll feel good about that then, about the fact that we're not leaving our code kind of broken. Let's go back to writer and data loader. That's the right password. Okay, let's wait. Did I turn the Docker off? I left it on, right? Left it on. All right, let's go back and debug this one more time. Make sure that this works now. Put a breakpoint here. And by theory, we should still be able to connect to the cluster. And then we can just see if our documents are going to get created or not, which they should. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Let's come back and see if it can authenticate again. Let's go to breakpoint right here. Run. Double check our username and password. Why is my breakpoint not sticking? There's a breakpoint right here. Breakpoint. Really? Is Ryder just being that messed up today where it just won't even put a breakpoint in? Boy. All right, username is data loader, password is capital P @S $. I think that's backwards. I think it's $. I think it's the exact opposite in the Docker Compose. It's $ first and then S. Rename. Factor and rename. There we go. Feel better with that. Breakpoint one more time. Hit it here. We should no longer have the connection problems. Now let's go past that. Skip to the next line. Okay, we're getting our bucket back. Our cluster connection's working. Return back. I continue. Our profiles are loaded, it says. Let's go check that. And I think that'll be a good place to have a victory on the stream here. Close these two out. Where is our Docker? Go back to E100. Go back to buckets. Find our inventory here. Go to scopes. We have our personnel scopes. We have our user profiles. I see 17 documents inside of it. That's weird. That's weird. It's like a bug in Couchbase server where it defaulted to offices. So user profiles, even though, wait, let's check that one more time. What the heck's going on there? Let's check that. So we went to buckets, we went here, we went to scopes and collections. We clicked on the personnel. we clicked on user profile and I want to click on documents here. This should take me to user profiles. But look here, offices is what's set instead of user profiles. So I gotta do the swap game here, and then there we are. There's all of our user profiles that we wanted. We open up one of these documents. That's exactly what we're looking for. And we didn't need extra attributes. This is the metadata. We don't need the extended attributes right here because we're gonna make it so that everybody can view these documents. So we don't need to put an extra attribute there. But you can see here it's blank. And so this is a good starting point for us. This means that we should be able to talk to those. We can sync to those in our mobile app, get to some sync code up and running and talk to these things. Now, data loader code is not perfect, right? Because we should, this gets a little expensive. When you load data, you almost want, so there's 20, I can't remember how many users I added in. How many? 17. So there's 17 users in here, right? So the problem is we're data loading, but we're gonna make the assumption that the user does not exist. And so if we were to run our program again, we're gonna run into some exceptions because you can't have a document in Couchbase with a same document ID. So we go to up insert. That's going to, well, the up insert should update it if I remember right. Let me just double check here. So we'll click stop. And we'll make sure we don't have any more breakpoints. Let's run again and see what happens now. You can see profiles are loaded and we should have the same 17 documents because what's it going to do is it's going to update the documents again with the same information. That way we don't throw a an error message that says that the document doesn't exist or the document already exists. And that's why, if you're asking me why I didn't do an insert, I did an upsert. That's why. If we go back to Writer now and look at our code that we're using for loading them, you'll see here that we're doing a upsert, which will be an insert or an update, depending on it, as long as the ID of the document matches, right? So if there is no document, it's an insert. If there's a document, we'll just update it with whatever information we have here. All right, folks, this looks pretty good. This I feel comfortable checking this code in that we have some, we've got some progress to make. I'm a little bit bummed that we have another problem here with Writer where it just cannot talk to iOS simulators. And it seems to be working in VS Code without problems. Looks like we have some stuff here that we can get rid of because it says we don't use it anymore. All right, feels pretty good. Oops, sorry about that. That code easy to read. Folks, that's going to be it for the .NET Lunch Stream today. I appreciate you all piled in with me, checking out some real quick code that we're using to load some documents into Couchbase Server. We're going to load Office documents. I'll probably do that offline. And get those also loaded in so that those both can sync over because we definitely want to have the ability to select offices. So if you want to edit your profile and change what office you're a member of, I think that that's something you should probably be able to do. And so we'll have to load those documents in so that we can go write a query against the database to get the list of offices that they'd be able to change from. So that's our future, what we're planning on doing there. So again, thanks everybody for attending the lunch stream. I look forward to seeing you guys at the next lunch stream. Take care, be safe, and be nice to everybody. The world is